The given data are noted down here. Here we need to draw a pentagon prism which is having a base of 25 millimeters and axis height of 60 millimeters. And we also see that it is resting on one of its base edges on HP. So solid resting on HP, as I've mentioned it in the previous problem. All the problems what you'll find in the orthographic projection of solids, according to many of the university syllabus, will be the edge resting on HP or corner resting on HP, which means that you need to draw the plane figure on the horizontal plane that is below the XY line. And the condition with respect to axis is that axis makes 40 degree to HP and axis makes 30 degrees to VP. Now note here that this problem is quite different from what we saw in the previous problem, because previous problem we had axis inclination with HP, while with VP the base edge was inclined in the previous square prism problem that we had solved. But here the condition is given with respect to axis, both HP as well as with respect to VP. So let us see how to solve this problem. First and foremost thing, we'll draw the first position, and in solids you have to ask the question for the first position whether you need corner condition or edge condition. So since the problem says it is resting, the prism is resting on one of its base edges on HP, we'll draw the pentagon in the first position such that one of the side, that is base side, is towards the right side. Okay, so you can keep it on the left side also, which I'll explain it to you sometime later in the upcoming videos. But as of now, remember, in planes we used to keep that particular edge or corner on the left. Now in solids you need to keep that particular edge or corner on the right side. Okay, so we'll draw a pentagon here with one of the edge on the right side. The base edge length is given here as 25 millimeters, so you can take 25 millimeters. Since I'm drawing it in the grid sheet, it becomes quite easier. You can select a point here, 10, 20 and 25, so that becomes 25. Now you can count 108 degrees from both the endpoints of that particular line using a protractor. Name all the corners with A1, B1 and so on, because A, B, C, D, E will represent the top face, while A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 will represent the bottom face. Do not forget to mention the length of the side. From here you need to generate the front view for the first position, and the front view of the first position will be able to be done with the help of the known axis length, which is given as 60 millimeters in this particular problem. So locate the center for this pentagon from where we can draw the axis height. Since pentagon is having 5 number of sides, which is odd number, you need to draw medians, at least 2 medians, and find out where the intersection of medians occur. So medians will be drawn by choosing any of the corner of that particular polygon and draw a line to the opposite edge midpoint. So locate the midpoint of CD, and I've done that already. So you can locate the midpoint of any other edge, for example BC 25, you can approximately take 12.5, and from that midpoint you can draw a line to the opposite corner. So these two medians intersect here, so this point will represent the axis or center, which is O01. So from O01 you can draw a line till the XY line, which is a projection line, and from here we can measure 60 millimeters above the XY line. So measuring 60 millimeters becomes easy here. Since I'm using a grid sheet, you can count it 6 times. So this will be the height of 60 millimeters. Draw the axis line with one longer and one shorter line. Now we can draw the projection lines from all the remaining points, while the base will be named with 1 and the top face will be named without 1. Remember to draw it exactly to the height of 60 millimeters above the XY line. Now the top face will be named without 1, which is going to be A dash, and here looking from bottom to top direction, first point is B, next is E. So B dash and E dash will fall together while E dash in the bracket, and same way here C dash and D dash. The same names will repeat at the bottom but with 1. The axis line will be represented as O dash in the top and O1 dash in the bottom. So we can darken the edges of the front view using a dark line. The front view of prism will look like a rectangle. That completes the first position for this pentagon prism problem. And in the front view of the first position, mention the length of the axis by drawing the dimension lines. So in the second position, as it is a solid problem, all the problems, the plane figure will be drawn on the horizontal plane. So you need to take the condition with respect to horizontal plane first, and then you can go with the condition with respect to vertical plane, that is VP. So here we have the condition with HP as 40 degree to HP, and axis is the one which is being inclined at 40 degree to horizontal plane. So right now the axis is actually named as O dash O1 dash, and we can see here the axis is right now vertical with respect to the XY line in the first position. In the next position, you just need to tilt this axis at an angle of 40 degrees with respect to the axis line. And while doing so, you must not make this point C1 D1 go above the XY line, because the condition also says it is resting on one of its base edges. So here the base edge that we have selected according to our drawing is the one that is on the right, and we need to select the base edge. Base edge will be named with 1, which is nothing but C1 dash D1 dash. While you are tilting this front view in the second position at 40 degrees, you must make sure that this point C1 dash D1 dash still lies on the XY line. So in order to do so, we have done that in the previous problem. Instead of inclining the axis at the given angle, we'll incline the base at 90 minus the angle that is given. So here the angle given is 40 degrees. So 90 minus 40 would be measured as 50 degrees. We'll incline the base of the prism at 50 degrees with respect to XY line. So first thing we'll do is mark a point here at a convenient space. Do not take it too far, because we need enough space for the third position. So we'll just place that point C1 dash D1 dash on the XY line. And from this particular point, we can draw a line which is at 50 degrees from the XY line. And you need to measure it from the left side. So take 50 degrees. This angle is 50 degrees, which we obtained by subtracting the given angle with 90 degrees. So we need the axis to be inclined at 40 degrees. We'll incline the base at 90 minus 40, which is nothing but 50 degrees. So using this particular position now, we need to reproduce the same first position front view over here, but axis inclined at 40 degrees. We can do that by using arc method, or we also can draw that with the help of set squares, using which we'll be able to draw 90 degrees. Why 90 degrees? Because you can see here in this particular position, right now we have drawn a base. So in order to project the second position, you can see here these angles what we find here are all 90 degrees. So from this particular C1 dash D1 dash point, if you draw a perpendicular line, we can get the point C dash D dash. As you see, C1 dash D1 dash and C dash D dash is actually a straight line, and it is at an angle of 90 degree with respect to the base. So right now I'll be using the 90 degree method using a set square. Maybe in the next problem I'll show you how to use the arc method. So this will give you only one line. Similarly, we need to identify the two more lines which are longer edges from A dash to A1 dash and B dash E dash to B1 dash E1 dash. So we'll mark the point B1 dash E1 dash and A1 dash over here on the baseline by measuring the arc, and also measure from C1 dash till A1 dash. Once we have marked those points using the compass, you can name it after C1 dash D1 dash. The nearest one is B1 dash and E1 dash, and finally we have A1 dash. So even from these 2 points, we'll draw perpendicular lines using a set square by holding the set square like this. You must make sure that the line which is our reference should be exactly held aligned with the set square. Now after drawing these perpendicular lines, we know that the top face is found at a height of 60 millimeters from the base. So here we have drawn the base and we need to draw the top face at a height of 60 millimeters from this particular line. So from every point we'll measure 60 millimeters using a compass and cut one arc on the three lines. It is quite simple to name them because above A1 dash you must have A dash, and above B1 and E1 you will find B dash and E dash. Above C1 D1 you will have C dash and D dash. The top face will be named without ones. Now you can darken this with the help of a dark line. You can also measure the point of axis, that is O dash and O1 dash, from the same point C1 D1 dash and cut one arc from this point C1 dash D1 dash. It will be the same measurement even in the top face. Join these 2 points with a axis line. If you just extend this axis line till the XY line and measure the angle between the axis line and the XY line, you will find this angle as 40 degrees. So if you incline the base at 90 minus angle that is required, we will get the axis inclined at the angle that is required, that is 40 degrees. That completes the second position, front view. From here, to generate the top view, you must draw projection lines from every point till it meets the same point in the top view in the first position. So if I draw a line from A1 dash, draw a line till it connects to point A1 in the top view. So this intersection will be the new point A1. Likewise, you repeat it for all the remaining points. This is B1 dash line and draw a line from B1. This intersection will be the new point B1. And we get the 5 points of the base. In the same manner, we'll project the top face also. And we get the 5 points of the top face as well. Now before joining these points to connect it as edges, we need to identify the hidden edges and the visible edges in the second position top view. In order to do that, we have the list of edges that are existing in a pentagon prism. So here I have the list of edges that are present in a pentagon prism: base edges, top edges and longer edges. As we have already discussed about this more in one of the introduction video of solids, let us just go quickly in order to identify the hidden and visible edges. For the second position top view, you need to look at the front view from top to bottom direction. And when you look at this from top to bottom direction, identify the farthest point in this. And in every problem it is going to be the same. The one that is touching the XY line will be the one that is farthest. So in this case it is C1 dash D1 dash. So we need to identify the edges which contain the points C1 and D1 for the second position top view. So look at A1 B1, no presence of C1 D1. Here we have C1 is here, C1 D1, both points are here, and D1 E1, so D1 is here. Any one of these 2 points or both the points must be present in that particular edge. That will be considered as hidden edge. Here we don't find either of the points, and none of these contain C1 D1, so all these are visible edges. And here we have AA1, no C1 D1, no C1 D1. Here we have C1, here we have D1, and here we neither have C1 or D1. So we have identified 5 hidden edges, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So let us draw these edges first in the second position top view by dark dotted lines, by dark dashed line. So connect B1 to C1 with the help of a dark dotted line. So identify the points B1 and C1 and connect them with a dark dotted line. Next is C1, D1. C1 is here, D1 is here. Be clear with what you are drawing. These contains no ones, these have with ones. Okay, so connect C1 to D1. Next is D1, E1. D1 is here, E1 is here, and 3 edges are over. None of these edges should be drawn with dotted lines. The other 2 dotted lines should be CC1 and DD1. Point C is here, C1 is here, so connect them with a dark dotted line or dashed line. And the last one is DD1. So connect point D to D1 with the help of a dotted line or dashed line. Do not use dots, you must use dashed lines only, and that completes the identification of hidden edges. Now what you need to do to complete this is all the remaining edges will be connected with a visible edge. Which are the remaining edges? You can just have this same set of edges which we have here. So the ones which are connected, apart from that, which are not circled, will be the visible edges. So A1, B1, E1, A1. So A1, B1 is here, you connect it with a visible edge, and then E1, A1, E1 is here, A1 is here, and then you connect AB, BC, CD, DE, EA. So these edges are connected. Now we'll go for the longer edges. AA1, BB1, EE1 are to be connected. We have already connected CC1 and DD1. So find AA1, BB1, EE1 and join them with a dark line. So here we have A and A1. Join it with a visible edge. B to B1 and E to E1. That completes the second position. Very clearly defined hidden edges and the visible edges. We'll project the axis also, because even in the next condition the angle given with respect to VP is also with respect to axis. So let us project the points of axis also into the second position top view, that is from O1 dash. You draw a vertical projection line till it connects the point O here. O is here at the center, so you can just extend that line. Where it intersects, that point will be the point of axis. Point O will be here, and because this is O dash, and when you draw a line from O1 dash, this point will be the point O1, and this is the axis length O to O1 in the second position top view. Now remember, before you go to third position, you need to check whether there exists a beta angle or whether the given angle can be directly inclined over here. While in the previous square prism problem, we had the base edge inclined to VP. So we measured the length of that base edge which was resting on the horizontal plane, and we saw that the base edge length was not changed in the previous problem. Let us see what is the angle given here with respect to. Here the angle is given with respect to vertical plane, and what is inclined to vertical plane is the axis. So the name of the axis is O1 or O dash O1 dash in the front view, O01 in the top view, right? So here let us measure the length of the axis in the first as well as in the second position. Now remember, the concept is same whether it is planes or solids you are projecting. If the length of that particular element is changed from first to second position, then you need to find the apparent angle. If the length has not changed from first to second position, then no need to find the beta angle. And the important thing here is you need to measure the length of that particular element with respect to what the condition is given with respect to. So here the condition is given with respect to axis. So let us check the length of axis in the first position as well as in the second position. Now if you see the length of the axis in the first position top view, it will look like a point. O01 is simply a point, okay? But the length of axis has to be measured in the front view. So we all know the first position no conditions will be applied. So length of axis will be same as it is in the given in the question, which is 60 millimeters. So in the first position it is 60 millimeters. Let us check the length of axis in the second position. Now remember not to check it in this position. This is not required for us for the third position. As of now, we need to project this top view and incline it over here in the horizontal plane. Why? Because the angle here is given with respect to vertical plane. We have already done with 40 degree to HP. Next angle is 30 degree to VP. So angle VP, you need to draw it in the horizontal plane. So if you want to draw that in the horizontal plane, you have to refer the sketch that is present in the horizontal plane. So here the first position axis length is 60 millimeters, while in the second position the axis length is measured to be 45 millimeters, right? So this is a point O, this is a point O1 which we found out by drawing projection lines, and when you measure the distance from point O to O1, it measures as 45 millimeters. So initially it was 60 millimeters, and in the second position it is reduced to 45 millimeters. So this length will be called as apparent length, while 60 millimeter will be called as true length. The given angle here is 30 degree to VP, while there is no word such as appears to be or top view or front view. So this angle, whatever is given here, is nothing but true angle. Since the length is changed to apparent length here in the second position top view, and for the third position you need to use the second position top view, we need to find out the apparent angle in order to incline this apparent length of the axis. So we need to find out the apparent angle. Either you can find it out in the space over here, or you can find it out separately as we used to do in the chapter of planes. So here I don't have space in this particular sheet because I have just written the given data over here, or else you will find the space over here which is more than sufficient to find out the beta angle. Okay, but as of now I'll just find out this beta angle in a separate page. Right, I've just taken a sheet of paper and will first draw a horizontal line in order to find out the beta angle. This is to find beta angle. Okay, we'll draw a horizontal line, mark a point over there, and mark the true length of the given axis length and incline it to the true angle. So we need to draw a 30 degree line from here, which you can do it either by using a set square, that is a 30 degree set square, or you can also use a protractor in order to get the 30 degree line. So I'll use a protractor here. You can keep the protractor reference point over here on the point that you have marked and mark a dot for 30 degrees and draw a line here. So this angle is 30 degrees and the true length of the axis is 60 millimeters. Measure that length and cut the arc on this 30 degree line. Where it intersects, from there you draw one more line which is parallel to the already drawn line, which is a horizontal line. Right, this will be called as locus, and on this locus you need to cut an arc for the apparent length. The apparent length is also present here in the drawing that we have made, which is present in the second position top view from O to O1. So keep the compass needle here and cut the arc on this locus. Where it intersects, from there you can connect a line to the reference point over here, and this length will be the apparent length, and this angle with respect to the apparent length will be the apparent angle, which is nothing but beta. Okay, you're going to get around 41 degrees. Okay, so we found out the beta angle to be 41 degrees, which you can draw it over here in the third position top view. So while you are drawing that beta angle line, make sure you have enough space over here to project this second position top view over here to the third position top view. So I'll select a point somewhere over here and keep the protractor over here and measure an angle of 41 degrees from this direction. On this line we have to bring the second position top view of the pentagon prism, which is at an angle of beta angle, which is nothing but 41 degrees. Right? Do not forget to mention it as beta angle 41 degrees. First we'll mark the points of the axis on this 41 degree line, because we need to incline the axis on this beta angle. So first point we'll take is O, and I'll mark it somewhere over here. And the next point is O1, which will be measuring it using a compass from the second position. This intersection will be the point O1. from these two as reference points, we have to bring back all the remaining points using the arc method. It is one and the same which we used in projection of planes. You just need to measure all the points from O and O1 only. Remember the first 2 points that we have marked, and remember to measure all the remaining points from these 2 points only. For example, you can measure the distance of O to D and cut one arc, because D has to come somewhere over here. So the next measurement to get the intersection for D has to be measured from the other point that is known, which is O1. So keep the compass needle at O1 and measure it till the point D. O1 to D, keep the compass needle at O1 and cut the arc here. So where it intersects, that will be the point D. Repeat it, and you will find many of the points which are of similar distance. The points which are similar, like O1D and O1C, will be of the same distance. So from point O1 I can cut one arc for finding out C. So measure the distance from O to C, which will be one and the same from O to D, which we already measured. So this intersection will be the point C. Repeat it for all the remaining points. Points has to be measured from O and O1 only. Like O to E will be same as O to B. So you can take the same measurement, cut one arc above and cut one arc below, and then you measure the distance from O1 to E, which will be the same distance for O1 to B as well. So where it intersects, those will be the points B and E. While the point A lies on the line of O1 only, we can directly measure it O to A. This intersection will be the point A. Likewise, O1 to A1 is also on the same line. So keep the compass needle at O1 and cut the arc. You will get the point A1. We'll measure the points B1, C1, D1, E1 also in the same manner. Now we have projected all the 10 points, 5 points of the base and 5 points of the top face. Before you connect it, whatever the hidden and visible edges were there here, the same has to be copied over here to the third position top view. That completes the third position top view. And to generate the final position, we have to draw projection lines from every point and connect it to the projection line from the previous front view of the particular problem, right? So we have applied 40 degree to HP over here, and we have done with 30 degree to VP by finding out the beta angle in the third position here. So let us draw the projection lines from every point. Remember to connect every point and name it immediately to avoid your confusions. Do not be overconfident that you can do it quickly. Obviously you can do that when you are well versed with many problems, solving many problems, and when you are confident on it. But my suggestion, you will be solving only one problem in your exam on solids. So it is better that you concentrate every point, draw it and name it immediately. Like draw a line from A1 till it reaches the point A1 dash. So A1 dash is here. We can draw a projection line from A1 dash. So where it connects, that point will be the new point A1 dash. Right? Likewise, as and when you find out the point, you name it immediately. Next is B1 till B1 dash. And this intersection point will be called as B1 dash. So now we have found out all the 5 points of the base A1, B1, C1, D1 and E1. In the same manner, we'll draw projection lines to find out the points of the top face, starting from A. That completes the 5 points of the top face as well. Now to identify the visible and hidden edges in this particular final position, we have to look at this third position top view from bottom to top direction. When you look at this from the bottom to top direction, the prism will have either the base or the top face nearer to the observers. So the direction where the view is being made is the one which is called as observer. So either the base or the top face should be closer to the observer. So according to the drawing and the way in which I have rotated the second position, you see this is closer to the observer when compared to the other face. So this face what we see here which is closer to observer is nothing but the base. So this problem final position we conclude that the base is towards the observer. So remember the points which we had discussed in our previous problem to identify hidden and visible edges in the final position. The first step is identify what is closer to observer and darken that particular face with a visible edge. So here the one that is closer to the observer is the base. Base is made up of A1, B1, C1, D1 and E1, A1 as we have already listed it here. So join these 5 edges as a visible edge in the final position. Now the base of the prism is darkened, and what you see in the second step is find out the outermost points of the base that you have connected, and from the outermost point let us draw an outer boundary which connects all the points in the outermost parts of the third position. So in this particular problem you see A1 dash and E1 dash are very close to each other, while the outermost point on the bottom side is obviously C1 dash. So I can draw a line from C1 dash and connect it to draw an outer boundary in the final position very easily. But if you want the clarification of whether A1 dash or E1 dash is outside, you can just hold the scale, don't draw a line, just hold the scale from A1 dash to A dash and see whether E and E1 falls above the AA1 or below the AA1. So as you see here, this is A1 dash, E1 dash is found below the scale only. So the outermost point is very clear that A1 dash and A dash are the outermost points. So let us select this outermost point which is C1 dash and start drawing the outermost boundary. So from C1 dash we'll connect it to C dash, and from C dash to B dash, B dash to A dash. Do not bring it inside, as we already discussed few minutes back. E dash is actually inside, right, when I hold the scale from A dash to A1 dash. So let us not connect inside, I just need to draw the outer boundary. So join the line from A dash to A1 dash with a visible line. So now there will be 2 points which are not touched by any of the lines that we have drawn till now. So these 2 points over here in this problem are D dash and E dash. In fact, this will not touch, this line will not touch this E dash. So hence the edges emerging from these 2 points will be considered as the hidden edge. That is the third step that we do. So the 2 edges that we have identified here is D dash and E dash, which is simply D and E. So identify the edges which contain D and E in this particular list of edges that we have. So A1, B1, B1, none of these contain D and E, so all these are visible. Then when you come here, AB, BC, CD, so here I have the point D, so this is a hidden edge. DE, this is also hidden edge because it contains D as well as E. And finally EA, this is also hidden edge because it contains the point E. So these three are hidden, identified. Go to the longer edges. AA1 does not have DE, BB1 does not have DE, CC1 no, D and E are present here, DD1 and EE1. These two are also going to be hidden edges. Right? Let us draw the hidden edges with the help of dark dashed lines. So we'll have these edges and connect only these points with the hidden edge. So the point from C to D, point C is here and D is over here. You can connect it with a dotted line or dashed line. Next is DE, point D is here, E is over here. You can connect it with a dotted line. And the last one is EA. This will be very close, do not have confusions, but draw it clearly. When you are drawing it with pencil, you will have a clear distinction between the points. So from E dash to A dash is also a hidden line. And next one, when you come here, DD1 and EE1 are hidden. So identify D dash and D1 dash, that is DD1 and EE1. So now we have done with drawing the hidden edges. Do not forget the fourth step. The fourth step in that set of steps which I have told you to identify hidden edges. Fourth step says just to cross check all the edges whether it is connected with either a visible or a hidden edge. So all these edges are connected, which is base edges. AB is connected, BC is connected, CD is connected, DE is connected, EA is connected. Let us check the longer edges. A1 is connected, B1. If you just have a look at this, or one of the longer edge is not yet connected. So connect this with a visible edge, that is the fourth step. Check the remaining edges continuously. C1 is connected, D1 is connected with a hidden edge, EE1 is connected with a hidden edge, and that will complete the problem by clearly identifying the visible and the hidden edges in the last position. For any doubts or clarifications, you can drop a comment or contact me through my mail ID.